But it could be the Street Profits and the AOP, because that's what we got next. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the entire show up until we got to 9:30, when finally Roman Reigns stepped out of his SUV in the back and Paul directed him which way to go to the ring. And then we went to the break. But when we came back, he was on his way to the ring. And they went to the fucking ring. And finally, he spoke at 9:38. So 8 minutes after we saw him get out of the SUV, Roman Reigns finally spoke. And of course, this was the showdown, the heavily anticipated face-to-face confrontation that had been challenged for, asked and answered. Cody Rhodes, if you'll come alone, Roman Reigns will come alone. You're both going to be there alone. You can say whatever you want to say to each other. And this is what everybody's been waiting for through this whole program, because you can't mean to tell me that anybody wanted to see anything else they've seen on this show so far. So Roman spoke, and he's got Paul there. He's alone, but he's got Paul, which still kind of works, you know. Paul Heyman's limousine pulled up and an empty suit got out. And Roman says, I kept my word. I'm here all alone except for the wise man. So now Cody Rhodes will join all of you because it's time to acknowledge me. And they went to the shot on the screen of Cody walking in the back of the building, walking toward the entranceway. And they went to the break again. Oh, God. I have literally seen constitutional amendments take shape quicker than this thing, right? So at 9:42, they come back, and Cody is just now making his entrance. It took him 3.5 minutes to walk through the backstage area. Long entrance, big introduction, gets a big reaction. Whoa! And finally at 9:45, 15 minutes after Roman got out of the cab, about 7 minutes after Cody was invited to the ring, they finally speak to each other. And that's what they did for the next while. They spoke to each other. And Cody, he started out, he said, I'm as much a man of my word as you are. Very dramatic foreshadowing there. If you came alone, I came alone. And then that's what Roman said, well, it's because you're a fool. You're stupid. You're not fit for this job. You don't know what you're doing. Where was Seth on Monday? He showed his true colors. He stabbed me in the back. What do you think's going to happen to you? But then Cody has asked the fans, well, can I trust Seth? Oh, yeah. And Cody asked Roman, well, can you really trust The Rock? Who's really in charge around here? The tribal chief or the final boss? And then Roman tells Cody that he's the greatest number 2 of all time. And Cody says both of us grew up in the industry wanting to be big stars. And he said a bunch more stuff. And then he said, good luck at WrestleMania, and offered his hand to Roman, and Roman looked at it and dropped the microphone and wouldn't shake his hand. And then Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns demonstrated what it looks like if a human being was to walk on the surface of the planet Mercury. Because, you know, Brian, when the planet is so close to the sun, it's got more gravity. And they were walking slow. And they slowly walked off while Roman's music was playing. And then suddenly, you're thinking, please let something happen. And guess what happened? Solo walked through the crowd. And Jimmy Uso walked through the crowd. Which meant that Roman did not come alone. And they came and they climbed over the rail slowly. Step by step, inch by inch, they crept up on him. Susquehanna Street, slowly I turned. And then Cody was standing in the ring and the heels were standing on the floor. And then suddenly, appearing at ringside, Jey Uso appeared, and Seth Franklin Rollins appeared, dressed in black hoodies and incognito.
Yeah, great job, WWE security. 4 breaches in 2 minutes.
The cameraman can find them. And they creeped up slowly to the ring. And the Roman Reigns music transitioned to the Cody music. And then came the big finish, ladies and gentlemen, where everyone looked at each other with mean faces.
This sucked.
That was it. That was it. And I mean, I'm the one who says, well, they can't get in an angle, they can't get in a fight every week, or it's just repetitive and it's too much, right? But you can't. They literally advertised this face-to-face showdown that where these people were going to tell each other what they thought of them and blah, blah, blah. And there wasn't going to be anybody there. But then there was somebody there on both sides, but the somebodies that were there didn't do anything because it took them 30 minutes to get out there and tell each other off in not a very entertaining way. And then everybody stood around and looked at each other. And that was it. The fuck? And now you going to complain about last week's rock concert after this?
Well, that started the show. That didn't end the show.
Oh, goddamn.
Because it's a double standard. They let him go as long as he wanted. That's why.
It would have got over better than this if it was on at 4 o'clock on Tuesday morning on C-SPAN.
This was bad on a number of levels. The first one I'll talk about being the weird awkwardness when Roman and Paul left and the music hit. And like the crowd was confused. Like, what the hell's going on?
They were confused as to why they bought those tickets.
What is happening? Is this it? Like, it wasn't like something may happen, something has to happen. It was almost like, well, okay.
Nothing's going to happen.
I guess this is how we leave. And then everyone slowly came through the crowd and did nothing. They're slowly getting to where they want to go, but it's that slow roll now to WrestleMania. And I also think, I've said this a little bit about The Rock and how it relates to Cody. Cody better be careful not to get too fake sounding with these promos. Not to sound too pretentious and speak unnaturally.
Yeah.
Because he's doing it a little more than he has in WWE ever lately.
Well, this one I'll agree with you on. And I think part of it was because neither one of them, I mean, Roman's a great promo. But this wasn't a great Roman promo. Cody's a great promo, but this wasn't a great Cody promo. They didn't have a lot to say here, and they had a lot of fucking time to fill. And that's when it stands out more, when people are kind of impatient to begin with and or what the fuck's going on, that Cody may be a little grandiose sometimes in his verbosity.
And there's no blood feud. Like, there's no heat for the feud. Like, it's just like people want Cody to have a story finish. They want him to beat Roman for that reason. But yet they're out there just talking to each other.
Yeah.
How many main events to WrestleMania could you have done this in the 2 weeks ahead of WrestleMania? Just have them come out and have a conversation. There's no buzz for oh, I can't wait for Cody to get his hands on him.
The last year, the injury, the pain that Roman Reigns put him through. You know,
you want to see Cody get his hands on The Rock. They took it all off Roman Reigns. Now you want to see Cody win the belt. Just so happens Roman's holding it. You want to see him get his hands on the guy that was doing promos about his mom.
And like you said, again, there was no animosity between these two here. And if they are going to do something that branches Roman out into a more sympathetic role as a eventual or tenuous babyface or whatever, it's too early to do it before he still needs to be as despicable as possible for about 2 more weeks. Despicable, I say.
And we were just talking about the other day, you brought it up during the Raw review, the Usos. You know, does anyone really care too deeply beyond the bloodline? I said it there. They are in the bloodline. You have to consider that to be all part of this, even though it's on Raw. And there it is.
And there it is, a little of this and a little of that.
But an awful episode, a boring episode, nothing happening. and then a main event segment. I call it the main event. We do this off air, and I keep saying the main event, and you go, well, no, there was an interview after. That's what I'm talking about on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's the main event.
The main event was a nothing happening, nothing segment that lasted for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And I was looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, the late local news is going to start like in 2 minutes. Something has to happen. Nothing happened.
But nothing happened.
Just turn out the lights. At this point, I'm okay with turning out the lights. Just so you go off the air thinking something could have happened. Instead of you go off the air thinking, all right, they are all ready to go back to the hotel.
But they got 2 more Fridays, right? Before the big one to get it right. And when is it? Rock is returning in Brooklyn.
Is it 2 more Friday? Yeah, I guess so.
It would be the 29th, and it would be the 6th, right? Or the 5th, or something around that.
Something around that. You are correct. And
yes.
I assume The Rock will be in Brooklyn because you said it. So, yes.
Well, he's saying it. He's saying he's going to do it. Finally, The Rock is coming back to Brooklyn.
What do you think we're going to get? A video of him filming himself on the subway to show he's a man of the people? Or will he give the homeless some money and make sure that he films himself doing it?
No, actually, I think he ought to land on the roof of the fucking arena in a helicopter. And just get out and just piss over the side of it on the crowd of people waiting to fucking come, and just let the piss blow in the wind all over those people.
See, that's the problem too. While he's being that kind of heel, which is what he should be right now, at the same time, he's putting out videos like, hi everyone, try my shampoo. It's wonderful. What?
It'll put hair on your head. As Mama Cornette used to say.